Howdy. Welcome to Practical Principles. This is Practical Prince. We're doing Talking Tarot today. So drop in your questions or comments if you just want to chat. And yeah, otherwise, let's try adding some music. I think we liked that. That may or may not be coming. And we'll just continue getting set up so that we have a good time. Because who doesn't want to see their spreads or listen to nice music? Suspicious. Let me see if we're actually getting music. Not really hearing anything. Oh well. Maybe it's something I have to set up beforehand. We'll just have to keep that in mind for next time. Oops. Hey, Rada. Yeah, go ahead. Ask your question. And I'll clear some space for a reading. There's my digital guide. Okay. Let's see. Probably anything. Let's set these aside. And yeah. Okay. And yes, I am doing well. Oh. I feel like using Destiny deck. It's kind of open-ended, so I'm not sure that I've got a good spread for this. I might just be pulling cards till we get a good idea. There it is. Contact me by end of day today. I mean, I feel like the next move within 48 hours is the more important question, right? And even includes your contact by today to some extent. It's not as specific, but regardless, I think we'll start there with the 48 hours. Gosh, do I want to do spread? Next move, twice move. No problem. It's fun doing readings. I'm just trying to think through what is going to be, what's going to make sense. I feel like I'm not as familiar with my spread machine stuff, but this will help us put together a spread. Set these aside. Motivation might be relevant. Seeker would be, Second question first. Okay. Will they contact me by end of today? Sure. Let's just go ahead and do a yes/no spread. And we're using this, so you can get this while we do that. Share. Excellent. So we'll be pulling 3 cards, and then just based off of how many are yeses versus other things, that'll figure out the yes/no. Hey, Samantha. Yeah, we've just got 2 questions from Rada, and then I can answer yours. You can go ahead and drop it in, or wait till I can speak to you more directly. This first one is part of it. This one seems to be part of it. No problem. And this one also seems to be part of it. Okay. I'll go ahead and do the camera. There we go. And we'll flip the cards and then see what they are. So we've got 9 of Pentacles. I think Pentacles is usually good. 3 of Pentacles. And the Fool. That's probably going to be a neutral. It's not a bad card, even if the name... nobody wants to be identified as a fool. But let's take a look at our guide. Okay, so the Fool is the yes card. It's not one of the others. And then we've got the 3 and 9 of Pentacles. And yeah, 5 is the only Pentacles that's got an exception. So yeah, all of these are yes cards, Rada. So as far as the answer today, it seems like a solid yes. It's going to take a little more time to figure out how to answer your first question. But we can figure that out. Maybe relevant. That is. That could be relevant. No problem. Intention. We definitely want that one. Yeah, I think that's the other one we want. Okay. And then, do we want any of these others? We're not really doing work. Yeah, we're just trying to organize it. So let's see. There's the Seeker. That's you. That's not really our focus, though. We'll go ahead and let Persona represent Rish, if I remember right. Relationship naturally goes between you two. Let me next move towards me within 48 hours. Okay. And I think that's more than enough. So let me show you the spread. I haven't done a spread machine spread yet, but this is just to formalize how we're putting the spread together. Oops, sorry. So here's the Seeker. That's you. We'll put a card here, but we're not going to flip it over because that's not what our question's about. Mostly you're here to help explain the relationship between you and Rish. And we're using Persona for him because really that's what we're seeing of him. We've got his underlying motive here, and then his intention, which might not be as clear, but ideally that's what his motivation, well, that's what he's trying to get across. So that's the spread. Then we'll go ahead and put cards on top. We'll hide that as well for now. But let me shuffle this because we are using Destiny again. And this is going to take a little bit. 3 piles. Sorry, 5. And yeah, so we'll place 5. We'll flip the 4 because I think that's going to give us the best information. And then we'll go from there. Now the cards just need to be ready. And the price we pay for having big decks is long shuffle times, sadly. I think something about the matte feel of this deck makes it a little more difficult. But we're done. Okay. Top. Next. Okay. All right. Top card is motivation. Yeah. All right. Skipping a few. One more. Okay. Persona. Yeah, that's intention. Where is relationships back up here? Oh, it's just behind that. Okay. And then doesn't really matter. We're just doing the placeholder for Seeker. Okay. Sorry if that was loud. All right, and I'm going to flip and then I'll show you. So for motivation, we had 3 of Swords. For persona, we have the High Priestess. Intention, we have Queen of Swords. And then relationship, we have Judgment. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's just start left, or well, I'll show it to you first. Oops. So there's our cards: 3 of Swords, Queen of Swords, the High Priestess, and Judgment. These 2 are major arcana. These 2 are minor. Of the Sword suit, which a little concerning, but it's not a bad thing per se. So now let's flip over to our guide, starting with motivation, the 3 of Swords. And there we go. This card has a very direct representation, which is the pain of truth. This is a moment to face reality. This card shows up when there has been a betrayal of trust in a friendship or relationship, or in a work matter. The positive side of this card tells you that you have gotten to the heart of the matter. The disillusionment is gone. The rays in the background indicate that it is time to begin the healing process. In a reading, this card asks you to take care of the heart, safeguard your emotional and physical well-being. Allow your emotions to come through so that you start the process of growth and healing. So, I mean, that's tough on Rish, I guess, but it sounds like he's learned a hard lesson, and that's the underlying ground. Okay. Hurt me first. Well, I'm sure we're going to be touching on that more as we get closer to the relationship and judgment. But yeah, they've learned a hard lesson. Let's go ahead and move on to the High Priestess, the persona, or how he's presenting. High Priestess. There we go. Is an intuitive and psychic. She is a symbol of the divine feminine and a gifted teacher. She asks us to go inward and trust our internal knowing. Stop looking for answers from the outside world. Your wisdom is your guidance. The arrival of this card is a sign to follow your heart and know that you are on the right path of your spiritual journey. Nurture yourself and your projects. Trust your inner guide. Success is around the corner, which I think tracks with the Three of Swords. Like, he's been hurt, or she, I guess, I don't know. And they've learned a hard lesson. They're starting to lean on their inner wisdom as they're moving through life. Let's get to intention, the Queen of Swords, as far as the intent towards the relationship. Represents the mind aspect of the mother archetype. The energy of this card is that of a single-minded, highly ambitious, astute strategist. This card is about assessing a situation quickly to get to the truth. There is a need for attention to detail associated with this energy. Traditionally, this card is known as the Widow, which means the card represents a strong female energy that has a powerful presence. This card comes up in a reading when there is a need to see the bigger picture of a situation. This card asks you to take charge and make your decisions with wisdom, intelligence, and perspective. While following your sharp instincts, you will not be led astray. So, I mean, there's almost a pointedness with how he's approaching this. But it's not as, gosh, I want to say whimsy, finicky. Whimsy is probably the better word. As romantic comedies would portray romance, for example. There's a pretty serious intent, in all honesty. And now let's go to judgment. I think this might be our most telling one. Is a card where your past and future come together. You are being called upon to review your decisions and actions to ensure they are in line with where you ultimately need to go. Great changes and opportunities are on the horizon. But before you move forward, certain past issues must be addressed. The Judgment card also predicts a spiritual awakening. As you receive guidance on your path, your confidence and wisdom will grow. This card is a reminder that it is never too late to make a change for the better. It almost sounds like they're still reconciling with the Three of Swords. The High Priestess, I mean, normally I would associate that with more, you're more in tune with your inner spirit, your inner wisdom. But in this case, he might still be developing that. And part of that is the relationship. Will they take any action? I mean, gosh, at some point, yes. Like with the Judgment card, the whole thing is collapse is a bad word, more so condense. They'll solidify their stance one way or the other. But yeah, as far as timeline, I guess that's not necessarily promising for. Well, I guess that's why you're asking this question. And we have our card. What did we get? 8 of Wands. News, travel. Those are the keywords on it. I'll pull it up. The most positive card in this suit, along with the ace. It predicts a lot of communication in the form of emails, phone calls, and exciting offers. If you have felt held back by waiting for decisions, positive news will flow to you. Your creative ideas and endeavors have wings, and they are moving forward with comfort and ease. In relationships, this card can bring great news about love, especially if you have been separated from a partner recently, or if you are waiting to hear from one. There is a quick energy associated with this card, so whatever you are waiting for will come quickly. Yeah, so almost positive. This almost comes with a flurry, a bunch of communication. So, I mean, it's almost certainly that when that collapse happens from Judgment, things will be positive, affirming, and things will be moving forward, is the impression I'm getting. So, and yeah, you should be excited because all of that tentative, trepid that just happened, well, I mean, turns out happy ending. So, no problems. Let me do. 8 of Wands. I'll see if I can send a picture of this out because that was important for you. I mean, like that's what this all culminated in. So let me just capture that. And I'll try to get that out on social media so that you can pin that or something if you want to use that as part of your focus. And let's give it some space. There we go. A little slow on the camera today, but oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, great news. Okay. Hello, Paige. Samantha had a question. Okay, excellent. If you're familiar with that route, well, I'll still send it out. But yeah. Oh, thanks. Samantha, go ahead and ask your question. I'll start cleaning this up. What will be the outcome? I'm not. I don't think we're using the Destiny deck for this one. This feels more of the Prisma. Okay. I'll need to shuffle that when I need it next. But until then, let's set this one aside. I've got a physical guide for this one, so I'll be referencing that. Trying to figure out how I want to do the spread. Because I mean, we could do like just a single card for yes, no, or do the 3-card yes, no spread from earlier. But that doesn't seem, I feel like there's more to that question. So, I mean, I can, and this is where it'll just get tricky. So I'll probably do a certain number of cards. You'll have to help connect the dots on what they're speaking to, which was always the case with tarot. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I've got like 5 spots, but for some reason I got 2 cards in one of them. So let me see if I got this high enough. So I was getting this 5-piece pattern basically, the center and then 4 corners. For some reason, this one got doubled up on. I'm not sure why, but hopefully we'll figure that out. I'm going to start with the center since that's likely to be you as the focus. So the tower. I don't need to look this one up. The tower's infamous. It has a negative connotation to it. It denotes upheaval. So there's a lot of that, which makes sense given what you've just described. But I mean, it's not a pleasant thing to go through. The silver lining, however, is that you're going through this upheaval because things weren't sturdy. I don't know what your faith is, but in Christianity, there's like the wise man built his house on the rock, foolish man built his house on sand, and then rains and floods come, and house on the rock stands, house on the sands washes away. So, in the sense, the tower in the upheaval is washing away that sandy house, but it'll make it more obvious, make it more apparent where the rock is and where you should be building in the future. Okay. I'm going to move on to this lower left corner, and I'll show you the cards afterwards. We got 8 of Pentacles, Cosmic Prisma, and it depicts a woman watering sunflowers. The keywords here are blooming success, meaningful growth, skilled. After the first few harrowing weeks, when a project is still touch and go, it is a real pleasure to see measurable success blooming before your eyes. Take delight in what you have achieved. Steadily cultivate what you have already established so it continues to grow in meaningful ways. Pay attention to detail. Fortune has little influence at this point. Rather, your dedication and finesse will guarantee the success of your undertaking. So I'm guessing that's speaking to a different aspect of your life than the separation that you were talking about. What part that plays, I'm not so sure. It might just be a support or a pillar. I'm sure not the only one, but just one of those things in life where work does pay off, and as you continue to work, it continues to pay off, sort of idea. And in being an example, in one aspect of your life, it'll provide hope for the other aspects of your life. I'm going to go ahead and flip over our double cards here. Okay. Well, and you'll be more familiar with what fruits you're seeing in your life. So if that's the dot that's connecting, then that's probably it. For our duo, we got 4 of Pentacles and 9 of Swords. We'll do the 4 since we're here. Keywords are greed, selfishness, materialistic. These are some of the few pentacles in the suit that do not glimmer. By hoarding his abundance, refusing to share or invest, the miser's wealth has become stagnant, self-diminished, and the card depicts a miser, so it's speaking to that. Blind to his spiritual penury, he believes he has succeeded in his ventures. Take a lesson from this unhappy man. A dependence on the status quo will only leave you unprepared when change inevitably shakes you. Relinquish your grip. Let yourself go. And then 9 of Swords. Fear, vulnerability, paralysis. A cruel card. The 9 of Swords depicts fear so great it leaves the martyr numb to the onslaught of forthcoming pain. Fear cripples any riposte, leaving him vulnerable to a swift destruction. But take heed from his paralysis. Though the situation is grave, it is his passivity that ensures his ruin. If you find yourself overwhelmed by hopelessness and despair, don't respond like this hapless figure. Face your fears with valor and dignity, trusting that your enemy will be overcome. I mean, those are very much in synergy, just negative examples of what you don't want to be. Warnings, both of them. In fact, let me just go ahead and show that. And we'll go on with the other cards and then do them all at the end. But I think it'll be nice to be able to reflect on that visual. So there's your miser on the left, who's stuck in his greed and going to succumb. And then there's the 9 of Swords, where they're doing nothing, and that nothing is leading to their destruction. So that's what's going on there. I'll flip over upper right now. 7 of Chalices. Where is that? There we go. Deception, dwelling in fantasy, choices. The 7 warns of overindulgence, of using sensual pleasures not for their own sake, but to distract us from a more pressing matter. By allowing ourselves to be deceived, we deaden ourselves to our problems. It is a way to seclude ourselves from a harsh, embattled world. But dwelling too long in fantasy will leave us vulnerable to very real issues that will not go away if we ignore them. Hey Ruby, let me finish this reading. And then I think, Paige, I think, stopped in earlier. So we've got this one and possibly another. But yeah, that's a similar warning. So speaking to Samantha, 7 of Chalices also seems to be a warning to not brush stuff off or ignore it, to own up to the issues and face them. So where the 4 of Pentacles and 9 of Swords might have been speaking more so to your husband, maybe 7 of Chalices is speaking more to you personally. That would be my guess. And then our last card, 7 of Pentacles. Back here. Setting intentions, great reward, future planning. Innocuous and unassuming, within every seed rests a sleeping empire. Whether or not it rises from dormancy depends on many factors, not the least of which is simple chance. Nevertheless, whatever you cultivate has a good chance of surviving into maturity. So take care that what you are planting is wholesome and fully accounted for. Don't be fooled by the smallness of their being. Potent, fertile, they wait to sire nations. And let me go ahead and show you the cards. So yeah, those top 2 corners were very similar in that they were warnings. The 4 of Pentacles and 9 of Swords combo, and then the 7 of Chalices. Our bottom 2 spoke more so to growth, the 8 of Pentacles and 7 of Pentacles. This one more so with the 7 with new projects or new ventures, possibly new children even. And the 8 of Pentacles speaking to stuff already in progress. I don't know that that gives you much resolution or any closure really. Because yeah, I mean, the outcome I'm getting as far as your original question, I'm feeling it's a no. That there's not going to be a reunion. That's my personal interpretation of this. But in the long run, it's all going to be for the better. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you even keyed in where he's acting like the 4 of Pentacles, hoarding and holding on. So, yeah, it's probably something you're just going to have to move on from, unfortunately. It's not great when that happens, but sometimes we have to just own up to the reality of it. So. Okay. Hope that helps. Okay, so then we've got Paige. Yeah. Have I forgiving Robert? I guess, Paige, I just want to make sure I'm understanding clearly. Is the question, have I forgiven Robert? Are you trying to check if your spirit's actually in tune and reconciled to that? Or if you should be forgiving Robert? So let me go ahead and put these cards away. Okay, deep down. And Prisma's not a bad deck for that question. Real quick, green or black? Speaking of the page, I'm just trying to figure out which deck, because I've got two that would work pretty well. And I just need to pick one, so black. Excellent. It is possibly my favorite deck. I love the artwork on this one. So, have I actually forgiven him? Yeah, I want to shuffle. I think we're only going to need one or two cards. So I think we'll just flip them and then go from there. It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, that should be sufficient. Okay. So let's see. We've got 10 of Skies and Page of Skies. This uses elements rather than the traditional pentacles, chalices. So let's see, 10 of Skies. So this would normally correspond to swords. Endings, inescapable disaster, and it depicts a meteor crashing into some sort of planetoid. And then our Page of Skies, new ideas, desire for knowledge, curiosity. And it depicts an owl. I mean, I think I know the answer, but you'll be able to help me determine if I'm wrong. You might still be reeling from some of the aftermath, but I think you've come to terms with that impact, what's happened there. And that's leading towards the Page of Skies, the owl, which is opening up to new things. So, so as far as whether or not deep down, yes, but there might be some fringe some fringe specks, some fringe reservoirs of hurt, which, I mean, I think you've accepted the main part, so I'm not too worried about these little rocks flying off and whatnot. You'll come across them time to time, but then it'll just be a matter of putting it in its place. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, certainly you shouldn't forget it. It's an impactful part of your, well, it was a significant event in your life. So it wouldn't make sense to forget it. It's sticking out to you because there is something to learn there. But it's almost like a story you just read. It's still fresh in your mind, even though you are done with it. So I'm sure as time passes, at most it'll be taking these little rocks and putting them back in their place. That's the impression I'm getting. So answer there, yes. So you can be optimistic about that. Don't drag yourself down too much when you do come across those rocks. And now, Ruby's question. What's the outcome of my marriage, please? Okay. Yeah, I think that's a Destiny deck one. Let me clean this up a little. Switch it over. And now I'll need to prep the cards. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think we need a table shuffle. Trying to think of how best to answer Ruby's question, because there's a number of aspects we could be looking at there. There's just like short term, long term. Well, and I guess you can even have like first year or so of marriage, and then 5 years or so, and then like decades. And that's just looking along the axis of time. But then there's stuff like your posterity, your children, if any. And then I guess there's the impact you could have on each other. There's just a lot of different aspects that could be going on there. I guess, Ruby, if you're still around, is there a time frame? I feel like you're looking more in the near future. Looks like Ruby might have bounced. That's okay. Because, we can still do a reading. I think I've got a pretty good feeling about. And then I'll be able to figure out what it is she wants to know. So. That's the top one. Okay. All right. For Ruby. I mean, time frame, I think we're looking at short term. I think we're looking at a 3-card spread, one for you, one for him, one for outcome. So we'll stick you on the right, him on the left. So this must be him. This is outcome. And what's the card for Ruby? I guess that one is, yeah, coming off the bottom. Okay. Okay. And let's go ahead and show the cards. Okay. So we've got Ruby on the right, him on the left, outcome in the center, looking at the short term. We'll go ahead and start with him. And we got justice, balance, truth. Those are the keywords on there. The outcome, 6 of Wands, victory and good news. And then for Ruby herself, we have 8 of Wands, news and travel. So it looks like we've got pretty positive stuff. I'm going to go ahead and set this down. And I mean, this seems pretty positive all in all. I think probably the most interesting thing is justice. That's not, it doesn't necessarily have a positive connotation, but that's not an issue here. It's more so that, well, he's going to come into balance if he isn't already. He'll be more reconciled with truth. So that's what we've got going on there. I guess I can go ahead and actually look it up. Justice. That for every action, there's a reaction. Karmic, who are deserving and honest, seeks retribution. The scales of justice signify that you have made good decisions using integrity and perspective. Then the outcome is in your favor. Justice will be served and order will be restored. Find balance between your home life, your relationships, and your work. Stand tall in your truth and accept all responsibility for your actions. So I think I probably said it more clearly before. So we'll continue on with 6 of Wands. There it is. Signifies a well-deserved triumph. If you've been struggling recently in work, career, or projects, this card may reveal a promotion or a new contract. It can also reveal that a legal matter will go in your favor. This is a time to enjoy, so you must share your accomplishments with others. In a personal relationship, this card indicates that declared feelings are well received. In the traditional meaning, this card signifies good news in any life aspect, whether it is love, property, education, work, or family. Celebrate the victory that came about through your resilience. So, yeah, I mean, just auspicious all around. Good card. Um, well, good outcome, which is really what you were asking about. But we'll also go ahead and look up your Eight of Wands, which is right here. Is one of the most positive cards in this suit, along with the Ace. I think this came up earlier. Lots of communication. You'll be getting answers soon. Your creative ideas and endeavors have wings, and they are moving forward with comfort and ease. In relationships, this card can bring great news about love, especially if you have been separated from a partner recently, or if you are waiting to hear from one. There is a quick energy associated with this card, so whatever you are waiting for will come quickly. So, Ruby, hopefully, well, either you hop on soon or you watch the video later. But yeah, answer is good. There will be a good outcome for the marriage. So, all positive there. I'm going to clean this up. If you've got more questions, by all means, drop them my way. Oh, did I show the cards? Yes, I flipped them. Okay. And I'll just prep these sticks now that we've used a handful. So, and I guess if you just want to chat, by all means, we can do that. But yeah, lots of fun readings today. And we almost used every deck. We even used the spread machine. And of course, if people don't have questions, I can, well, I mean, it has been, what, an hour? Almost an hour. We can call it good. Or we can just chat, if people prefer that. But you do need chatter if we're going to chat. Because as good as I am at monologuing, I am much better at dialoguing. Or at least the listening part of it. So, this is actually good. Okay. Put that one back. Let's shuffle the Lost Forest since it's up here. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah. Excellent. I do love the Lost Forest. Pretty artwork. And, yep, there we go. Need to cut the next. Mix and match. Okay. Okay. good. Looks like things have died down. So we might call that. I still need to shuffle one more. But yeah, we might call that a day. After all, my exercise ball is only meant for so much exercise. Shuffle. Okay. Gosh, should I really bother with this? If I'm just gonna do the social media after? Probably not. Oh well. I just feel bad if people have to wait for me to shuffle though. That's kind of the worst. So, but yeah, things have died down and are nice and quiet. So I think we'll call that a wrap. Thanks for joining. Hope you're all having a great day and have a great week. We're streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, same time. So hopefully we'll see you then.